Hello and welcome back to the Only One Formula YouTube channel. Today I want to discuss Saudi Arabia, and did Max Verstappen just make Formula One Saudi Arabia really, really boring? So to break it down, Max wins again with a massive deficit. Perez kept them close, but I think that on the front of it, Max was just cruising. So I think Red Bull have things pretty locked down. Again, just by the first two races, it looks like we could have Red Bull winning every single race of the season, providing, unlike last year, we don't have any hiccups and someone steals a win. But I think it's going to be hard for anyone to do that. I think Red Bull have the car in hand, and rumours are that there is a new car coming in a few races for Red Bull, so we'll have to wait and see on that. I don't feel there's much point in going too deep into the Red Bull race. Max wins by a country mile. Perez brings it home for a nice 1-2 for the team. So, another great round for Red Bull. Ferrari, obviously that's the talk of this race. Ollie Bearman, last minute call up to do FP3 qualifying and then straight into the race. So I think having raced in F2 at that track earlier in the weekend, I think it massively helps him. But I still think the job he did was phenomenal. Even to qualify 11th, that car it's capable. But on your first outing in that car to qualify 11th, I think he's done fantastic. And to furthermore come home in 7th in the race, I think he deserves all the credit. He's done himself no end of favours just by doing that. I just hope he's not another Nick de Vries who gets his one shot, shines, and then struggles. So, but he looked good. He looked confident. He looked capable and a really level head. Like with Lewis and Norris chasing him down towards the end, there was no panic on the radio. He just kept it cool, and he just did the job. So, 10 out of 10 for Ollie Bearman. So hopefully we'll see him again in the future in the car, and we'll see if he can notch up some better results. So well done, Ollie. But so moving on, Lance Stroll, pretty shocking day for Aston Martin. Early crash. We expect some form of crash at Saudi, but that was early on. You know what I mean? It's normally as you get into the race and fatigue sets in for the drivers and stuff. But Lance, again, poor performance, letting the team down. If Aston Martin want to reach the World Championship level, Lance has got to go. He has got to go. I know it's his dad's team, but his dad's a businessman, and at the moment, he will not succeed in business with Lance Stroll in that car. So, and I think if he carries on the way he is, he will lose Alonso as a result. I think he needs another driver in the car that's very capable and can be helping Alonso develop that car to where it needs to be. So, Aston lost at sea. McLaren, Piastri did well, and Norris, he had a fantastic first stint on the mediums, but again, just an attempt at a different strategy. Same with Lewis, an attempt at a different strategy, but it just didn't pay off. So, not much to add on McLaren's side. Picked up some more points. They've now jumped Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship, so that is good for them. They're now third. Mercedes, they seem to have cracked down on the overheating issues. I think the car behaved better, but just slow. It was just pretty slow. I know Lewis tried a different strategy, same as Norris, hoping for the safety car, but George didn't. George went with the other teams, and at one point during the race, I looked at the gap from George to Alonso, and it was 1.2 seconds, and I think 25 laps later, it was 1.2 seconds. He made no inroads towards the Aston, and yeah, I think just again, poor day for Mercedes. I think and then from there down, I think the only team really worth noting was the Haas. I think Haas played a blinder. I think K-Mag got himself into all sorts of trouble. He was pretty pushy when Albon, pushed him into the wall. I don't think he should have done it. And then gained an advantage off the track, so 20 seconds worth of penalties. And at that point, Haas rolled the dice. And they used K-Mag in the onboards of K-Mag is ridiculous how little throttle inputs he has and stuff. So it was entertaining, and it worked out perfectly. Haas pick up a point for Nico Hülkenberg in 10th, and they move up to 7th in the constructors. So yeah, the strategy worked. It was fantastic. So Kick Sauber, another shocking day. Pulled a different strategy with Guan Yu Zhou, and again, another disastrous pit stops. 2 races in a row, same looking issue. Obviously, we don't know the ins and outs of it, but the issue looked very similar. Wheel nut, obviously different position on the car, but there's something not right in the design of the wheel nut for the Kick Sauber team, so they really need to address that quickly, because 50-second pit stops are not going to do you any favours. You're not going to even pick up close to points with pit stops like that. So Kick Sauber, sort out. You need to fix that. And then I think the only other notable mention, Williams, their race was ruined by K-Mag. I think the only other sort of notable mention for the weekend is Visa Cash App Red and Racing Bulls. What happened to Daniel Ricciardo? He just never got going. The only way he got brought back into the race was K-Mag holding everyone up. Otherwise, he would have been nowhere. Yuki did slightly better, slightly better, but Yuki had an issue with K-Mag getting past K-Mag, slipped up, and then lost out to Albon and Ocon. So there was high hopes for the VCARB team at the start of the season. I think everyone was almost criticising the car for being a heavy copy of last year's Red Bull, but really didn't deliver. That's 2 races in. Whether the team don't have a full understanding of the concept of the car and they're trying to get to grips with that, or everyone else has just taken such a giant step that last year's Red Bull looks weak, or what, I'm not sure what it is, but another disastrous weekend, and Daniel Ricciardo didn't shine. He wasn't even close to his teammate. So I think the whole team needs to address that. So Max moves to 9 wins in a row again. An unholy statistic. He just keeps pumping them in, and he doesn't look like he's going to stop. So yeah, and I think to follow up on Ollie Bearman's success, I think it's a hard day for Charles Leclerc. As weird as that sounds, I think he picks up a podium, brings home a 3rd place, a strong 3rd place. He was never really challenged for the 3rd place, but he doesn't get the pat on the back today. It's Ollie Bearman that gets the pat on the back. So tough day. Leclerc had a good day. Just he doesn't get the recognition he probably deserves from that today. And if you look at the onboards from Charles Leclerc's car during the race, that Saudi track is unreal. It's just crazy fast. It's phenomenal to watch. And the confidence these drivers have to do what they do in that car and trust the cars do it, it's just crazy. And that's why they're where they are. And driving in Formula One, you don't get to that level without being as good as they are. So I have my hats off to every single one of the drivers on the grid for that track. It's just wildly fast, and I love it. It's fantastic to see, but not the most exciting race to watch. I know Red Bull and in a league are their own, but not an awful lot of action elsewhere within the race. The field is quite spread, I think, between the top 5. I think the top 5 they're not going to be heavily battling each other every weekend. So I think as a fan, we could have some unexciting races coming up, which I hope not. I hope that it's phenomenal, and I hope the season's great, but we'll have to see how it plays out. And I want to say thanks for viewing, and if you have any other things that I've missed about the race, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and it'd be really nice if you subscribed, so I would appreciate that. So I look forward to it, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one.